The conclusion of the 2009 film Avatar saw the colonial forces, which were humans represented by RDA military troops, be defeated by the united strength of Na'vi clans and the animals of Pandora. Neytiri and Jake successfully took out Miles Quaritch, the head of RDA security. The last humans on Pandora were expelled from the planet, except for a select few loyalists. Jake Sully gave up his human body and permanently migrated his mind into his avatar form to assume the role of Olo Aiktan, chief of the Omaticaya clan. He also surrendered his human identity. Jake Sully's voiceover informs us that 15 years have gone since the conclusion of the Great Battle, as The Way of Water begins with a stunning montage of Pandora's wilderness and tells us that the events of the conflict are in the distant past. Parenting their 4 children, 2 males, Neteyam and Loak, and 2 girls, Kiri and Tuktire, has proven to be the most fulfilling experience for Jake and Neytiri thus far in their lives. Kiri is their biological daughter, although she was born from the body of Dr. Grace Augustine, an avatar when she was in a coma. They adopted her. Another adoptive brother, Miles Socorro, also known as Spider and the son of the late Colonel Quaritch, is traveling with the children as their companion. Because cryosleep for children was not a viable option at the time, Spider was forced to spend his childhood in Pandora with the other Sully children. Even though Jake and Neytiri have accepted him as their adoptive son, Neytiri has a hard time trusting him because of his biological parents. Despite this, Spider is troubled by his father's decisions and finds comfort in the Na'vi way of life, which he finds more natural. Because they are adoptive siblings, Kiri and Mike are quite close. As humans return to Pandora for revenge, their seemingly perfect family life is turned upside down. The couples are stunned and horrified when they witness a fleet of human spacecraft arriving on the wilderness of Pandora and clearing out enormous portions of the forest, along with a chunk of the megafauna that lives there in the process. The human race begins colonizing Pandora all over again by re-establishing its foothold on the area that has been cleansed. Since then, 1 year has gone, and now we are reintroduced to Quaritch, who is shown to us in his newly recombinant form. It was discovered that Quaritch and a few of his disciples had been brought back to life after their deaths. Their consciousness was implanted in a cloned avatar body, and as a consequence, they now possess in their new form all of the memories of their previous existence, right up to the point where they passed away. Quaritch is briefed on the current scenario with the takeover of Pandora and the fact that Jake is commanding guerrilla attack teams to waste human efforts. Also discussed is that Quaritch has been given access to the information. As Quaritch decides to eliminate Jake and gets ready to lead his soldiers in an assault on the Omaticaya clan, he makes a revenge oath and promises to exact his punishment. In a further attempt at guerrilla warfare, Jake's boys are assigned duties as scouts. To prove himself, their younger son Loak puts his life in danger, which in turn puts his older brother Neteyam's life in danger as well. Jake is quite angry with his boys when they return to the base of operations for Omaticaya, which is Hanging Hallelujah Mountain. Neytiri makes an effort to dissuade Jake, who is furious and desperate. Jake explains to Neytiri that he is acting harshly with his boys because he is afraid of losing them. Later on, Jake's children go on an adventure into the thick jungle and end up at the location of the last battle of the Great War, which resulted in Quaritch's death at the hands of Neytiri. Unbeknownst to them, Quaritch and his men arrive at the exact location at the same time while they are investigating and taking them prisoner. Quaritch immediately recognizes his son, but is initially taken aback by the encounter. In the nick of time, Jake and Neytiri arrive and can save their children, except for Spider, who is captured by Quaritch and sent to the human base. Spider is subjected to psychological and physical abuse within the facility as part of a process designed to elicit information from him. Nonetheless, he continues to maintain his silence regarding the whereabouts of Jake Sully and Omaticaya. Quaritch pretends to appreciate the man's dilemma and offers him freedom if he would only play along with him. This is Quaritch's attempt to appeal to the man's humanity. The recombinants believe that learning the Na'vi language and how to ride Ikran is essential to penetrate the Na'vi stronghold without triggering Pandora's auto-response. Over time, Spider gradually changes his heart toward his father and teaches them both. Meanwhile, Jake is concerned that humans would coerce Spider into revealing their location. If this happens, Jake's family and the Omaticaya tribe could be in jeopardy. He persuades a distressed Neytiri to abandon their clan and seek refuge in a location removed from prying human observation. Jake steps down from his role as clan chief and relocates his family to the opposite side of Pandora, where members of the Metkaina clan who have adapted to the aquatic environment have made their homes. Tonowari, the clan chief, is excited to see them. But Ronal, the Shahik mated to Tonowari, is wary of them since their entrance may lead to an invasion by sky people or humans. Since members of the Sully family have human heritage, they are first looked down upon by the rest of the clan. However, they rapidly gain the clan's respect by adjusting to the new way of life. After being tricked by Tonowari's son Aonung and his pals, Loak finds himself in a precarious situation when he is left adrift in the seas, threatening his life. Payakan, a Tulkun, comes to Loak's rescue when she is in danger from a ferocious marine predator. Tulkuns are whale-like entities with exceptionally high levels of intelligence. They adhere to a philosophy of non-violence and have developed a family bond with Metkainas. When Loak returns, he is reprimanded for communicating with Payakan, who, following the clan's beliefs, is a murderer and an outcast. Loak finds it hard to believe and eventually creates a Sahelu relationship with Payakan to see via his memories the cruelty of human whalers killing his family. And Payakan is innocent. Loak finds out through Payakan's memories that human whalers killed Loak's family. He is disheartened by the fact that he cannot persuade anyone else of it. He can empathize with Payakan since he also feels like an outsider, perhaps much more so than before. Sireya, the daughter of Ronal and Tonowari, becomes Loak's buddy, and he eventually confides in her the truth about Payakan. In the meantime, the party of youngsters continues their exploration of the waters, and Sireya leads them to the holiest location in all of Metkaina, the Cove of the Ancestors. Another tree of spirits has been planted in the ocean to connect to Ewa at this location, which is a counterpart to the Vitraya Ramunong at Omatikaya. Kiri, enthralled by the underwater beauty of Metkaina, forges a Tsahelu with it and eventually comes face to face with her mother Grace. Kiri's vision shatters, and she begins having seizures as she is swimming in the ocean when she questions Grace about her paternity. Jake was cautioned by Norm and Max, who responded to his distress call, not to allow Kiri to develop a relationship with the Metkaina Tree of Souls, since doing so may lead to Kiri's death. Norm and Max had arrived at Jake's location. In the meantime, Quaritch led his squad to island settlements as they followed Norm and Max's aerial signal to the coast. Once there, they began to torture the locals and eventually killed their Elu leader, a friendly aquatic plesiosaur-like creature used by aquatic clans for transport. Spider is appalled beyond measure by their viciousness, and she begs them to stop, but to no effect. After seeing the behavior of the indigenous in response to the killing of their fellow beings, Quaritch has devised a plan to go on a Tulkun hunting rampage with the assistance of a cruel and crafty whaler. They are attempting to coax Jake Sully out of his hiding place on the island. The Tulkuns are a spiritual family that belongs to one of the aquatic Navi tribes. The pursuit and wanton massacre of a pod of Tulkun that follows is a gruesome, gut-wrenching chain of events that follows. Tonowari's family considered the pod to be a spiritual extension of their own family, and Ronal considered the cow of the pod to be his spiritual sister. Jake manages to discourage the Metkaina clan from going to war with humans by informing them that a frontal attack will only result in greater reprisal, and, in the end, the death of their tribe. The Metkaina clan is devastated by this awful massacre, and prepares to go to war with humans. The other Navi children immediately follow Loak's lead, and dash off to alert Payakan about the impending threat. They discover Payakan being pursued by Quaritch and the whalers, who had previously shot him with a tracking dart before beginning their pursuit. The youngsters successfully attempt to save Payakan, but Quaritch apprehends Loak, Took, and Sireya. As a result of Jake and Neytiri's realization that a confrontation with Quaritch is unavoidable, they travel to the location together with Tonowari, Ronal, and a fleet of Metkaina. Before they engage in combat, Quaritch issues a request to Jake, telling him that he either turns himself in or watches his children perish. Ronal expresses her pent-up anger and places the responsibility for the disappearance of the Tulkuns and their current situation squarely on Jake's shoulders. Guilt-ridden, Jake vows to surrender himself. At the same time, Payakan discovers that Loak is being held hostage, and he launches an assault on the whalers to divert their attention. Seeing that they have a window of opportunity, Jake and his comrades decide to launch their assault on Quaritch and RDA. Payakan successfully brings about the whaler's desired end by ensuring that his ship is sunk and that he dies a horrible death. While everything is going on, Spider makes the most of the chance to escape his captivity by destroying the controls of the ship he is imprisoned on. Although he was able to save his brother Spider and his sisters, Netiam was killed while trying to escape. Sireya, a member of the Sully family who has been brought back together, frantically searches for assistance. While Netiam is being comforted by Jake in his closing minutes, he takes his last breath while sitting on his father's lap. As Quaritch proposes the same arrangement as Jake's surrender, now in return for the lives of Jake's daughters, whom Quaritch has recaptured, the hour of suffering for the Sully family is far from over and will continue for some time to come. Jake, who is utterly distraught, and Neytiri, who has been driven mad by rage and the need to exact revenge, make one last fight against Quaritch as they eliminate all of the hostile human crew members one by one. Quaritch takes Kiri hostage to protect his reputation, while a disillusioned Neytiri does the same thing with Spider to exert pressure on Quaritch emotionally. As the fight between Jake and Quaritch begins, Kiri and Took make their way to a safe location. As a result of the vessel capsizing, all the characters are put in imminent danger of being killed by drowning. Jake manages to gain the upper hand on Quaritch and puts him to sleep with a choking hold, but he comes dangerously close to drowning himself before Loak and Paya can come to his rescue. Kiri invokes the assistance of her marine companions, and they lead Neytiri and Took safely to land. While looking for Jake around the sunken ship, Spider discovers that his father, Quaritch, is in a precarious state and very close to passing out. Despite her initial reluctance, Spider does end up helping him, but she declines his invitation to join her and instead sends him to live with the Sully family. Back in Metkaina, Sully's family members, in sadness, prepare for the aquatic clan ceremony that will serve as Netiam's burial. As the tree spirits embrace Netiam, his body sinks into the water and rests on the luminous polyp bed near the Cove of Ancestors. After some time has passed, Jake visits Tonawari to convey to her his intention to depart from Metkaina. On the other hand, the chiefs of the Sea Clan respond by welcoming the Sully family into their own family, as if they had always been there. Jake, having concluded that he cannot escape the aggressors and must instead take a decisive stance against them, has decided that Metkaina will serve as their new home, and is more determined than ever.